guys. If you ever do any of the projects that are in the beading magazines out there, my two favorite are Beadwork magazine and Bead and Button magazine because they have a lot of bead weaving projects in them. But when you do the projects in those magazines, sometimes they'll refer to something called a cylinder bead, which is different than a seed bead. And so you have to make sure that you're using an actual cylinder bead to make those projects, because it does make a difference. And I wanted to talk to you today about the different brands of cylinder beads. So cylinder bead is kind of a generic term that they use, but there are 3 brands out there of cylinder beads. One is called Delica. That is the most common one, and if you're going to your local bead store, that's going to usually be the one that you see there. It has the broadest color range. So the Delicas is one version. The Tohos make a a version called Treasure. And the Treasure cylinder bead is just a little bit skinnier and wider than the Delica bead. Not by a huge amount, it just makes a minuscule difference, but it's enough of a difference that you cannot interchange the two. So like if you're working on a project that has, say, 3 colors, you can't use 2 of them as Delicas and 1 as Treasures. You have to use all Delicas or all Treasures to make sure that the sizing all matches up. And then the third brand is kind of the elite brand, also made by the Toho company in Japan. It's called the Aikos. And the Aikos are known for precision cutting. You know how usually you have to cull, I'm going to say generally like 20% of your average cylinder beads. You'll have to cull them out because they're a little too fat, a little too skinny. They might have kind of an angled edge on one of them, that kind of thing. So I'm going to say 15 to 20% with a Delica or a Treasure bead. With the Aikos, you probably only have to cull out maybe 4 or 5%. As a matter of fact, I was making some swatches last night and I did not have to cull out in a single Aiko. Now, as a trade-off for all of that precision, the price is higher. It's also much harder to get your hands on them. There's only a few suppliers out there that carry them. I will put down in the comments area below some links to where you can buy these various kinds of beads. But let's take a quick look at these samples that I made so that you can see what the visual difference is. And unfortunately, I didn't have any Treasure beads at home, so I just have, here are my Delica beads, and then here are the Aiko beads. And they look very similar. The 2 swatches look very similar, although if you pay really close attention to details, and I'm a details girl, you can kind of see where, say, notice right here on this outside edge, that there's a little bit of waviness action going on right here, and that's because of some of the sizing differential that has happened in the middle here, and so it's just kind of bumped out right here. There's these couple rows are bumped out a little bit than, say, these rows here. You can kind of see if I put see how, well, I'm not doing a very good job here. Okay, well, you'll just have to trust me, I guess, that it just bumps out right here. But here you can see where these are super, super precise. Every single row is super, super precise. The Aikos are just an absolute delight to work with. It was so nice to not have to worry about any of the sizing. They just all fit in so beautifully. The Aikos are almost twice the cost of the Delicas, though. So, you know, it's one of those things that you want to save for a special treat for yourself. The Treasures, it would be very similar to this piece here with the Delicas. The only difference is the Treasures might be a little less precise than this. So they would sit over here, so you'd have the least precise, medium is what most people use, and then the most precise are the Aikos. So you can kind of hit your price point and also, you know, figure out where you can get a decent source. The Aikos come in quite a few colors. Treasures come in quite a few colors. Delicas definitely a huge motherload of colors. So you can kind of choose which way you want to go with them. I have to say, after making the swatches, I might start working a little bit more with the Aikos. There was something that was just really, and I'm kind of even having a hard time explaining to you why it was so nice to work with them, because I'm not sure I can quite grasp it myself, but just know that I felt a difference in the quality of what I was working with. So for my own personal pieces, I probably am going to start going with the Aikos. Oh, drat, I have to go buy more beads. It's so sad. Okay, not really. I hope this helps your bead journey, and bead happy.